Guys, if you would have told me that I would have been reading the Bible like 2, 3 years ago, I would have never have believed you. I don't, I didn't choose to read the Bible. I've always been seeking God, but I didn't choose to read the Bible. It came to me. I was seeking God and I found the truth and I stumbled across God Himself and Jesus. And I went to God before I went to Jesus. I didn't go to Jesus. I didn't know anything about Jesus. All I was looking for was God. All I was looking for was, why am I here? What's the purpose of this creation? What's the purpose of this life? What is the purpose? And why am I here? And what created us? And why were we created? And why is life difficult? Why is sometimes it good? Why is it difficult? I was always looking for God. I've always been looking for answers, and everything. When you have that type of mind, it points to God. Those type of questions point to God. I've never been an atheist. I've never had a mind that is spiritually dead, if you want to say. I have always had a curious mind. I have always had an open mind. My mind's never been closed. But not for 1 second did I think that God was in the Bible, and I didn't think that Jesus was God. I always loved New Age spiritual things. I thought I was God. I thought I was a manifester. I thought I was a creator. I didn't know that I was living in sin, because I didn't know what sin was. I didn't know that I was living in opposition to God, and I didn't know what God required of me to have a relationship with Him. I didn't know what obedience to God was. I didn't know what repentance was. I didn't know what deliverance was. I didn't really know what demons were. You know, I really didn't think I would be on this path. I didn't choose this path. The path came to me. And what I would say to you is, if you are sincere and you actually want to find God, and you're the type of person that asks questions, then, I mean, you should end up at the Bible, I suppose, because it's the truth. And if you take what you need to realize is that it's not about religion. A lot of people, even people I meet today, they've been brought up in religion, and they've been hurt by religious people. Therefore, they reject God, and they reject the very thing that can save them and give them a new life, and give them wisdom and understanding and answers to life. But if you are sincere, like I was, like I am, I prayed to God. I got to the end of myself. I got to the end of this life, because the life I've lived, it pushed me into a place of submission. The way my life went, it pushed me into a place of submission. So I had nowhere else to turn apart from praying to God, and just stepping out in faith and thinking, well, I believe in God. I know there's a God. I don't know this God, but if I pray and He hears me, which He did, that's what changed my life. And then God led me to Jesus. People started asking me if I know Jesus. I got led to this church, and they asked me if I know Jesus. And so I went back to God, and I said to God, if there's anything to this Jesus stuff, then tell me. And if it's a load of nonsense, tell me. And I was praying for about 30 minutes. And then I haven't looked back. I started to learn about Jesus. Jesus exposed Himself to me, because Jesus isn't dead. Jesus died in His flesh. He actually didn't even die in His flesh. He died in His flesh. But then He rose again. He defeated death, and He showed that He was God. But Jesus has gone back to heaven. Jesus is alive. Jesus is God's son. Jesus is the one that came. You know, they used to sacrifice animals for sin as a punishment, saying this is a sacrifice is needed, and that's why Jesus had to come. So, you know, once you understand this and you study the life of Jesus, it all makes sense. It's absolutely amazing. It blew my mind. And I repented for my sins. I asked for forgiveness, and I was sincere. You know, I'm a truth seeker, and I found God, and I ain't never going back. Just be sincere and seek the Lord.